Hi friends, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about warming up before we draw, the importance of warming up, why we warm up, and some of my favorite warm-ups that I do before I start drawing. So warming up is obviously not something that's exclusive to drawing. Before we work out, we warm up in order to get our body ready for the strenuous activities that we're going to do. We don't just jump into, an intense workout without getting our body ready for that first with a warm up. Similarly with singing, you warm up your voice and your vocal cords before you go into singing. So with drawing, it's the same way. I think that you could get by without warming up, and many people might not really see a big difference or think that there's a big difference, but I think that once you start warming up regularly before drawing, you do really start to see the difference in your performance. So here you guys can see me going through some of my favorite warm-up exercises. Some of these I've derived from the Drawbox program that was created by Uncomfortable on Reddit. That program is really amazing. It's totally free, and it's helped me a lot with my drawing. I haven't gone through the whole program yet. I'm going through it now, but I love to use some of the warm-ups that I got from that program. So the lines here in the beginning I got from there, but just generally drawing lines, circles, spheres, boxes or cubes, and cones is a really good idea. Here what I'm doing is going over the squigglies or the lines over and over again and trying to make sure that they stay on that same track. So an important thing to keep in mind here is to try to draw from your shoulder, which is going to allow you to draw more loosely and eventually help you be more accurate in your drawing, because you have a wider range of motion and you can gain more control. So in the beginning, if you're used to drawing from your wrist, the way you write, it's likely going to be you're going to feel like you have less control when you draw from your shoulder, but the more you practice, the better you're going to get at that. And another important thing is to not really be afraid of being inaccurate when you're warming up. So really, this is your time to just, get it all out and get your hand into it and get it used to what it needs to do. It's also going to help you loosen your hand and just be able to draw more loosely and freely as opposed to tensing up. So another thing I want to point out, because I tend to do this sometimes, is make sure you're not tensing up through these exercises rather than loosening up, because if you overthink it, it can be easy to just find yourself really tense and stressing too much about getting it accurate, whereas you're really supposed to be relaxing your body, relaxing your hand, and letting it do its thing. Another thing is that your warm-up can really be anything. It doesn't have to be these specific exercises or any specific exercises, but you could literally just sketch out what you want to draw, or if you don't know exactly what you're going to draw, just sketch out ideas, sketch something that you see in your environment, practice shading, and really it just helps you instead of just staring at a blank white sheet of paper, which can be really tough. However, these specific exercises I got from a lot of different sources over a long time, from different artists on YouTube, from different articles I've read, different programs I've taken or courses I've taken in art. So I basically compiled, whenever I find an exercise that I found was really helpful for me to use before drawing, I would just put it on that list, so that once I start, drawing the next time, I have a list to look through and choose the ones that I want to do. But basically, these exercises are helping you to move your hand in a lot of different ways that you would use while drawing, different directions, getting your lines, accurate, and also thinking through, it has a mental factor, because you're relaxing your mind and kind of getting it ready to think through what you want to do. So sometimes you might feel like you don't have motivation to draw, or you just have like artist block and you don't know exactly what you should draw, but just moving your hand gets your brain, to start thinking of different things and giving you ideas. So that's also a factor. I love this exercise with the circles in the next few because you're not supposed to lift your pencil off the paper at all. And so with the circles, you are doing a small one, a big one, a small one, a big one, and then you can also do like 2 and 2, but you're going over the circle twice and then you're moving on to the next one without lifting your pencil at all. Same with these, waves or flames, I call them. And with these, you're trying to also make sure that they are similar in size as much as you can, or you can do 2 small ones and 2 big ones as well, or alternate them. This can be a challenge because, of course, the more you're doing the same stroke and not, moving your pencil off the paper, the harder it gets to maintain that. So I definitely try to fit these in when I can as well. So over here, I'm practicing shading. So I'm trying to make a gradient. I'm starting out with a lot of pressure, and then I'm lightening up the pressure. And I think this one is one of my favorites and one of the most important exercises, because so much of your result, with drawing comes from your pressure, with the pencil or with colored pencils or whatever you're using, whatever tool you're using. But for me personally, this has made a huge difference in the quality of my portraits, especially because in order for a portrait to look realistic or accurate, you have to be able to shade properly in order to portray how it would look in real life. So it's a really good idea to practice that, your ability to lighten the pressure and increase the pressure according to how you want, as opposed to not having control over it. And so after I fill the page with all my warm-up exercises, I like to just go back and see if I can fit more, circles, lines, whatever it may be, and just try to get the most out of that page, because it's only going to help me to have a better drawing later on. And I also want to touch upon the idea of, if you're a digital artist, and I know there's a huge shift towards digital art right now, and I've been using digital art a lot more recently than traditional methods, but I do like to always go back and warm up with a pencil and make sure I don't lose that connection, because it also helps me to do these warm-ups on my iPad, but I think that for me at least, it's very beneficial for me to keep practicing my traditional methods of using a pencil, using a fine liner. And this is actually a new exercise that I came upon when I was doing a little research for this video, because I hadn't actually heard of it before, but it's basically drawing face profile vases, I guess they're called, and you're basically drawing 2 faces looking at each other, and so you're drawing it on one side. Usually one side is easier than the other. So for me, drawing the one on the right is really easy. It makes sense to me. But then you're supposed to try to draw it like the identical version on the left side. And that's where the challenge comes in. So one side is going to just be super confusing, and it's going to take time to be able to draw that accurately. For the last warm-up, I just wanted to get something that I would like to sketch, just a cute little sketch that I'll enjoy. And so I just Googled a quick picture of a bird, and I got that. That's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you derived some value from those exercises and that you can implement them into your next drawing session. Let me know if there are any other exercises that you've used and that have helped you in your art, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, join the family, and we'll see you next time.